Lots happening right now in our region.
Perch patterns have been working really well.
The bite has been good.
Just keep snapping it off the body.
The down imaging, the side imaging. There's a lot of different variations and different ways to rig this.
Oh, yeah! Look at this giant.
They are heavy.
Oh, look at that.
On today's show, we're talking bass fishing today.
This is AnglingBuzz TV. I'm Troy Linder.
I'm Jim Edlin.
You know, no other fish has had such a dramatic influence in the sport fishing industry than bass.
You're right about that, Troy. When it comes to electronics, super lines, boats, engines, rods, reels, the sport of bass fishing has pushed the development of everything we use, no matter what we fish for.
Yes, very true. So let's take a closer look at bass fishing today. Bass fishing today. My, what a long, strange trip it's been. Yes, a lot has changed over the past 50 years. We've gone from stringers of dead fish to a catch and release consensus. From short pistol grip rods to high-tech wands that weigh mere ounces. From coffee grinder reels to speed demon baitcasters. From 50-horse motors to glitter ships that push 80 miles per hour. And from primitive flashers to giant LCD displays with sonar technology that can literally see around the entire boat and map uncharted waters. The one-piece jumpsuits, patch jackets, and high-brim caps of yesteryear have been replaced by NASCAR-like jerseys, flat brims, and face buffs. Yes, over the last half-decade, the bass has firmly established itself as America's favorite fish to catch. We can all thank bass founder Ray Scott, who 50 years ago first sketched out what would become the future of pro bass fishing, including conservation and angler ethics. After all, you can't have tournaments without fish, and he knew that early on. Yes, pro bass fishing sets the pulse of what's hot and what's not. More new tackle, tactics, and trends emerge from competitive bass fishing than any other source. Since day one, bass anglers have been serious students, always looking for newer and better ways to catch fish. And it's funny how we rediscover techniques anglers used decades ago. But there have been lots of recent breakthroughs too. In the power fishing category, consider how flipping led to punching mats, and how new baits, line, rods, and electronics now allow us to catch bass over deep structure. Or how finesse fishing made its way from Japan to the West Coast and into the wheelhouse of every bass head in the nation. From the jig worm, to shaky head, to Senko, to drop shot and Ned rig, we've learned that finesse isn't just for shampoo, it's for catching big fish. Not only are more average bass anglers catching more fish, state records are being broken all the time. Yes, it's an exciting time to be a bass angler today. In the future, who knows what's in store? This we know. Thanks to bass anglers like you, adopting catch and release on your home waters, and the fine work of state fisheries officials, and pro anglers continuing to push the sport into new boundaries, bass fishing is probably the best it's ever been.
A lot of you might be asking, why are bass so popular? Well, the thing is, they're found just about everywhere. Pits, ponds, lakes, rivers, reservoirs, all 48 contiguous states. And you were just telling me you caught some in Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii of all places. Imagine that. You know, I've also caught them, Canada, down to Mexico, California to Florida, New York to Washington, everywhere in between. Bass are everywhere. But one thing is certain, though, there is a difference between smallmouth and largemouth. They're two different fish.
This Underwater Minute is brought to you by AquaView, the original underwater camera. While members of the same family, smallmouth and largemouth bass are two very different creatures. Appearance-wise, smallmouths feature dark vertical bars, black, green, or red eyes, and their bodies can range from light yellow-brown to green to dark brown, even black, depending on water clarity, diet, and habitat. Largemouths are various shades of green with a dark lateral streak. Generally speaking, deep water and cover fish are more pale in appearance than those living in open or shallow water, which are darker. Talking habitat, smallmouth bass prefer cool, clear, and current-driven waters, holding around boulders, wood, or weeds. They thrive everywhere from small creeks to depths pushing 50 feet throughout the Great Lakes. Largemouths, on the other hand, can tolerate warmer and more turbid waters like shallow swamps and chocolate milk-stained rivers. No matter their home, they prefer any kind of cover that provides shade and ambush opportunities. And when it comes to diet, largemouths are pure predators, If it moves, it's lunch. Smallmouth bass are largely visual predators, locating prey like crayfish, insects, and minnows by sight. As such, smallmouths do best in clear waters. But no matter their differences, this much is certain. Bass are fascinating creatures and a whole lot of fun to pursue. Just when you think you have them figured out, they continue to surprise us.
You have a choice, turf or surf. It's fishing season. Welcome to the outdoors. We're baiting, casting, drifting, and limiting out. The outdoors never felt so good. Catch, release, and keepers. The outdoors never tasted so good. It's fishing season. We are outdoors. Mills Fleet Farm.
Explore Alexandria, Minnesota. Whether it's a long weekend or a week-long loaded with family fun, you'll find plenty of things to do in Alex. Unleash your inner explorer with over 300 lakes, beaches, parks, hundreds of miles of trails, dining, golf, shopping, museums, and history. Alexandria is Minnesota's hidden gem. Go to explorealex.com to find your vacation this season.
The can for every engine. Help your engine run smoother and last longer with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Just pour it in. Seafoam Motor Treatment works to clean, lubricate, and protect your entire fuel system, no matter what moves you. Gas, diesel, marine, small engines, or power sports. Seafoam Motor Treatment is safe and easy to use. Make the proven choice. Seafoam Motor Treatment, available everywhere automotive products are sold.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Across our region up here in the upper Midwest, we have arguably some of the best smallmouth fishing anywhere. I'm going to say it is the best smallmouth fishing anywhere. Numbers of 3 to 5 pound bass just are peppered across the states, as well as a shot at a 7, 8, 9 pounder.
Definitely, Troy, and those are some giants. You're talking Michigan. The record's been broken twice recently. You know, fish almost 10 pounds. It was broken in South Dakota last year, a giant fish. And Angler of the Year last fall on Mille Lacs, 25-pound bags. We are in the epicenter of bronzeback heaven.
The bass world's been in a frenzy since the 2016 Bassmaster Angler of the Year Championship on Minnesota's Mille Lacs Lake. Jaws hit the floor when anglers hit the scales with bags full of 5-pound fish. And had the fall bite been in full swing, the average size would have been closer to 6 pounds. Minnesota's Seth Fighter definitely put on a clinic, taking first in his own backyard. With countless boulders, reefs, and sunken islands, and lots of crayfish, Mille Lacs has it all. From tubes to topwaters, drop shots to wacky rigs, swim baits to jerk baits, it's hard not to catch a Goliath brown bass exactly the way you like to fish. Door County, Wisconsin is known for cherries, wine, and world-class multi-species fishing. But to serious bass heads, it's Lunkerville for bronzebacks. Flats, rock humps, reefs, underwater points, Sturgeon Bay couldn't have been designed better for big brown bass. That includes lots of food. The endless buffet of invasive gobies is growing fish to linebacker class faster than ever. From May through mid-July, there's a great sight fishing bite. From midsummer through fall, slightly deeper humps and rock piles are key. And in the fall, fish move to deep underwater points. But no matter what time of year, Sturgeon Bay is the place to scrimmage with trophy smallmouths. Michigan's Saginaw Bay is another behemoth brown bass factory. But with so much water to cover, it's best to do a bit of homework before you launch the boat. High-definition digital mapping is your best friend. Build a route to a series of outer bays reefs. Then it's simply a process of elimination. Also look inshore for rock humps and weeds. There's big fish there too. 6 to 10 feet is typically the zone. Find boulders and you're definitely on the right track to your next trophy bass. Just keep your eye on the weather. Winds off Lake Huron into the bay can get fierce. Michigan's Little and Big Bays de Noc are sleeper big bass waters. The 2014 Bassmaster Angler of the Year Championship really put the Upper Peninsula waters on the map. It took a 4-pound or better average fish to finish in the money. And since, the bass fishing's only improved, with lots of 5-pound and bigger fish in the system. Whether you fish little or big bait and knock, rock and food equals fish. A menu of crawfish and gobies keeps these fish aggressive and heavy. Michigan's bays to knock, big brown bass, and even bigger fun. Those are some really incredible destinations for smallmouth. One thing I do love about smallmouth, even like a 5 to 6 pounder, you hook into that fish, the acrobatics are so cool. They'll do like cartwheels in the air.
Definitely good stuff, Troy. And now let's check in with the first of our Buzz Bite reporters from around our region.
Hey guys, Justin Geike with Chase Outdoors in Rothschild, Wisconsin, here with your fishing report for North Central Wisconsin. I gotta talk fast, I got a ton to pack in because there's been so much that's been so good here in the Wausau area. First of all, muskie's been on fire, tons of trophy muskie reports being caught, 52s, 53s, I mean gosh, big fish everywhere, the big moon phase, the hot weather has been playing a huge role in that, guys catching them on bucktails and topwater, up shallow and low light periods. Walleye fishing has been phenomenal. We're catching trophy fish, we're catching numbers of fish. Trolling as a tactic has been the best. We're running about 2 miles an hour with number 5 and number 7 shad wraps, running them high off the bottom. We're also getting some really nice crappies and some really big pike mixed in with that on our flowages here in the Wausau area. My sunburn today, courtesy of a bass tournament we had over on Shawano Lake for the Angler's Choice event. Whether it's Shawano Lake or Lake Wausau or all the lakes of the North Woods, right now really heavy weed growth is growing up. That's a great time to use punching and flipping as a tactic.
Fantastic multi-species bite right now in Warsaw, or is it Warsaw? You remember that commercial? Yeah. Maybe you're not old enough, Troy. But fantastic fishing, low light period for muskies, walleyes, everything's biting. And next, we'll check in with Brian Brosdahl, Bro as we know him, up on Leech Lake.
When you're out looking around on Leech Lake, I like to either fish weeds and the weed edges or rocks. And you'll see here on my Hummingbird Helix 12, this thing is awesome. You can see the rocks here as I'm cruising along. So what I like to do is I'll go and I'll mark the rocks and mark the edges or the tops, and then you can drag bottom bouncers through. That makes it easier to follow it. So first I'll cruise and see what's down there. You can see here, I'm gonna drag some spinners across there, some thumper heads, some whistler jigs. Now the eaters aren't everywhere. They're scattered, but you can catch a limit out there. Just have to work for it. It is the middle of the summer. Some days they bite like crazy, some days it's slower. It depends on the barometric pressure, and it is a wind-driven lake.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Using your electronics like that mega imaging, getting a crystal clear picture, and that rock to soft bottom transition for walleyes can be dynamite. After the break, we have more Buzz Bite reports as Angling Buzz continues.
Lake Vermilion. Explore. Relax. Reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye,
That's a beauty.
bass,
My favorite fish.
musky fish.
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
Running in rough water can be a pain, literally.
Hey, I never knew how comfortable a ride could be.
Until I added Smooth Moves to my boat. Its 4-spring design with hydraulic shock can smooth even the roughest of rides. With the built-in slide and swivel, you maintain all the function of your existing seat. A turn of the handle adjusts for conditions and passenger weight.
Hey, it's easy to install and built to last.
Smooth Moves, your back will thank you. I know mine does. Excel Outdoors, storage solutions for sportsmen. Cargo rack. Cargo trunk. Bucket caddy. Jaws of Ice, the best auger carrier ever. Hunting, the ladder stand caddy. Fish and game boards, and the extruder board. Organize your life outside. Excel Outdoors.
Sportfish Michigan is your #1 source for top charter captains and fishing guides in Michigan. Our network of professionals are full-time anglers with years of experience providing customers with the best possible fishing trip services. Fish for trout, salmon, steelhead on Lake Michigan or its famous tributary rivers, the Traverse City area's world-class smallmouth bass, walleye fishing on the Detroit River and Saginaw Bay, or northern Michigan's spectacular ice fishing. We do it all. Sportfish Michigan. Get out. Get bit.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Our next Buzz Bite report, the youngest of our reporters, Peter Olson. You know, South Dakota gets a lot of press for big smallmouth, but Peter's going to show you North Dakota has big fish too.
In today's Buzz Bite report, we're going to talk about our favorite smallmouth lakes in North Dakota.
First is Lake Audubon, because of the sheer number and quality of the fish. Today, dragging a hair jig and a leech right above the weeds seemed to do the trick. Second is Lake Sakakawea. Look for fish on sunken islands and around timber. The bonus is you'll find walleyes in places you never expected. Third, the canal lakes are full of smallmouth, especially New Johns Lake. Now they're a little harder to catch, but it's not uncommon to have a 2 to 3 pound average. And finally, Lake Darling north of Minot because of the quality of fish. In fact, in 2007, the lake produced a 6-pound, 13-ounce smallmouth that set the state record.
So remember, when you're in North Dakota, don't forget about the smallmouth bass. And that's this week's Buzz Bite report.
Great stuff from Peter Olson. I know when I'm driving out to Devil's Lake on my next walleye trip, I might fish some smallies, Troy. Up next, we've got Joe Sakura in the Alexandria region.
Here we're still catching a ton, 15, 20-inch walleyes with some bigger fish mixed in. They're holding right on the outside weed edges, especially during midday here. Late morning, they're going to be congregated very tightly on those outside edges. Come evening, yeah, they're going to spread out. You can go up on your rock pile, bobber with a leech, or pull through there with a crankbait. But midday here, you're going to want to run that outside weed edge. You're going to find some concentrated walleye. I would pretty much ignore everything that's up in the weeds. They're going to be sunfish, crappies, bass, northern up there on the top edge of those weeds. But the bottom edge is where the walleyes are going to be hanging out. Just run the inside turns and points until I read a big school of fish, 5, 10 walleyes or more, before I even consider dropping a line. Once I read that pot of fish, get the gear out, put on a nice lively leech, drop the lindy rigs down, and then slide back right through those fish. And then, I'm moving 0.1 to 0.3 miles an hour to trigger those bites.
Next, we'll check in with Billy Rosner up on Lake Vermilion, the home of the AnglingBuzz Sweepstakes, and we'll choose the winner to the sweepstakes later at our local Mills Fleet Farm.
We're getting into those dog days of summer up here, and it's where you really want to utilize your time on the water. Get out early, get out late, fish after dark a little bit, especially the walleyes. You want to fish them early in the morning. Those first couple hours are really important. Again, in the evening, unless we get a cloudy day up here, those cloudy, drizzly days, it's could be pretty good fishing all day long on those days. It's a great time of the year to do some multi-species fishing, chase some bass, chase some pike, some muskie, some panfish. And I think, you know, if you're a walleye fisherman or just a die-hard muskie fisherman, try some of these other species, and I think you'll find you'll probably enjoy it, and in the long run it's going to make you a better fisherman all around.
That's some great information from Rosner, especially like that low light, early morning, early evening bite, you know, for muskies and walleyes. In the middle of the day, you know, getting out of the comfort zone, as he says, maybe try for some bass. There's some pretty big smallmouth up there. Our next report, we're going to the Wolf over in Michigan.
It's been windy so far here in July, and these winds, often associated with August, have come early this year. But anglers that have been willing to get out and fish in the wind and done so safely have been rewarded handsomely. When it's windy, a spinnerbait is a great way to target both largemouth and smallmouth bass on isolated structure, windy blown points, and flats. The muskie fishing on Lake St. Clair is red hot right now, and anglers that are both trolling as well as casting have been doing extremely well, catching some very, very nice large fish. In northern Michigan, out of ports like Frankfort, Manistee, and Traverse City, king salmon are being caught, as well as the occasional steelhead and brown trout. Trolling with spoons and meat rigs continue to be the primary baits when fished adjacent to the thermocline. Early morning has been the best at targeting the kings, but the afternoon bite has been surprisingly good. For more information, or if you're looking for a captain or guide in the state of Michigan, please give Sportfish Michigan a call or check us out on the web, sportfishmichigan.com.
Looking for the perfect fishing vacation? Leech Lake, Minnesota. There's over 112,000 acres of water to explore with fantastic walleye, bass, pike, panfish, and trophy muskies. The fishing opportunities are endless. Leech Lake has it all with over 30 resorts, lodges, campgrounds, and hotels line its pristine shores. Plan your trip. It's Minnesota's original up-north vacation destination.
Because boaters know and follow Minnesota's aquatic invasive species laws, 98% of lakes are not known to have any zebra mussels. 95% are not known to have any kind of invasive animals or plants. Let's keep it this way. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from watercraft, including the motor, and keep drain plugs out during transport. Dispose of unused bait properly. Together, we're preventing the spread of aquatic invasive species in Minnesota.
If you're looking at this, how do you know it's not this? If you see this, how do you know it's not actually this? Trust your AquaView and you'll see the real underwater world. AquaView leads by innovation. First in high definition, first in handheld viewing, the finest underwater optics, the brightest, sharpest screens, the original underwater camera, and the fish finder that puts you on the fish. And now it's time for our cool product segment brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm. Today's show, we're talking bass. We're going to start over here with some top water options. Terminator makes both the walking frog and popping frog. These are VMC hooks. They're really awesome. They kind of walk in place. They hook up great. I fished these a lot, caught a lot of fish on them. Other options from Lunker Hunt, Live Target, and Spro. And something old school, the old school spoon. This is really cool. And it kind of gets under the radar a little bit. People don't think about it too much when they think of topwater for bass, the Jawbreaker spoon. And if you're bass fishing, well, you definitely need some jigs. Northland makes the Jungle Jig. Terminator makes the Pro Jig. This is really great. A lot of people say you can fish a jig any color as long as it's black and blue. These come in different sizes. They're great for fishing around rock, punching into weeds, and fishing around timber. Crankbaits are extremely important for bass fishing. You know, Rapala makes a great series with the DT. DT4s all the way up here like the DT10. You're fishing clear water like this, more stained water. You want like a Fire Tiger like this DT4 right here. Bagley also has something nice here, the Classic Kit. And the reason it's called that is all these baits right here have won the Bassmaster Classic. So you know they definitely work and you know it's quality from Bagley. Spinner baits obviously are great for bass fishing. Northland Tackle makes the Reed Runner series. A lot of different options, you know, a blade size, different colors, brighter colors like this for stained water. If you're fishing at night or lower light conditions, something like this. This is a little bit more Halloween color, I'd say, but this is a great series from Northland Tackle, the Reed Runner. Hooks are extremely important. VMC definitely fits the bill there. Their fast grip, wide gap hook, the heavy duty swim bait hook, the swing and rugby jig, this is a little bit different. This has an articulating head. This is good for like really fatter style soft plastics like big craws, big tubes like that. And then VMC also makes a great variety of treble hooks. This happens to be the Spark Point. This is a very strong, very sharp hook that you want to check out. Braid is great for bass fishing. You have the increased sensitivity, decreased stretch, so you can really feel what your baits are doing on the bottom, especially when you're fishing rock and wood. A couple different great options. Suffix 832, Tough Line 4, these come all, you know, as light as 8 pound that you can use fluorocarbon leaders with, all the way up to like 30 and 40 pound braid for top waters. And well, we got to talk rods. St. Croix has an awesome line. These are priced right around $100. Okay, this is the Bass X series. These have different lengths and different actions, and it says St. Croix, so you know it's quality. But you also get the value in this Bass X line. You have to check this out from St. Croix. All of these products are available at your local Mills Fleet Farm store, as well as online at fleetfarm.com. One other thing I do want to mention, there's another product that's truly taken off in the bass fishing world. It's the Minn Kota Ultrex, a cable drive system with electronic assist featuring capabilities like spot lock and autopilot. It's really cool and definitely added an amazing amount of boat control to the bass fishing world. And right now it's time for our technique of the week, tube tactics for bass. You know, smallmouth bass are one of my favorite fish to catch. I've caught them all over North America. Besides the upper Midwest and Canada, we're talking Vermont, down to Tennessee, Alabama, over to Texas, Arizona, California, even up into Oregon and Washington. One lure, the tube, has consistently worked for smallmouth wherever I fish for them. And the reason why is it closely mimics some of their main forage: crayfish, gobies, and sculpins. I generally fish for them in two ways: the standard internally weighted tube, which is most popular, and also on a mushroom head half moon style with an exposed hook. The mushroom head rigging is a little bit different action than the internal weighted tube, and at times will be absolutely a better option. Gluing the tube to the mushroom head can also help catch more fish and make the tube last longer. The correct weight depends on the depth of water you are fishing. I carry them in weights from 1/16 of an ounce all the way up to ½ an ounce to fish in depths from 2 foot to as deep as 30 feet and more. Probably the most important thing when fishing the tube is presenting it effectively to the fish. And what that means is that it's close to or on the bottom pretty much the entire time. Retrieving the bait is pretty simple. I have 3 general retrieves: bottom hopping, slow dragging, and a slow drag with a rip. A lot of tackle manufacturers make tubes. I carry them in sizes from 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch. 3 and 4-inch are the standard size, and the 2-inch tube can be effective on highly pressured or inactive fish. Tubes come in a lot of different colors. My favorites are natural tones of greens and browns. A basic setup is a spinning rod with braid and a fluorocarbon leader. They can also be fished on a bait caster. Oh, like that. There we go. No matter where you fish, tubes catch smallmouth.
That's just about it for today's show. But before we go, Troy and I headed to our local Mills Fleet Farm for the drawing of the big sweepstakes.
Yes, we're here with Donnie Holzer. He has the name inside the envelope. They will win a $500 gift certificate here from Mills Fleet Farm, as well as $500 in Rapala product, which I will handpick, and a 3-day, 2-night adventure on Lake Vermilion with guided fishing. And without further ado,
we got the winner here. The winner is going to be Jeff Oakey from Cassville, Wisconsin.
Congratulations, Jeff, and thank you to everybody that entered our sweepstakes and joined us this season on AnglingBuzz.
Yes, thank you very much for tuning in this season. We'll be back next spring with lots of exciting content. In the meantime, check out AnglingBuzz.com, our social media page, and we'll see you next year.
This week's Buzz Bite Report.
Tony Road.
Right, Rosner.
Lee Talkin here. Bass like this.
A lot of wallies like that.
Giant bluegills. Good luck, everybody.
Have fun.
We'll see you next week.